Good morning, everyone. I just noticed we started out with the wrong opener. So, way to go. I kind of forgot how to do all this stuff. It's been so long. Um, Welcome, everyone, to Morning Musings. Um, I know it's been a long time since we've done a live stream. I'm going to wait a little bit till we get a few more people in here so I can explain what's been going on. Let me get this just a little bit here. Um, Yeah, but plans are to try to get everything rolling back again like it was um, the beginning of the year. But what's been going on in my life? It's been really hectic for the past probably month and a half between getting sick. Um, we've had some company that came down from up north, and they've spent probably for the past month we've had company here, and it was really hard for me to do live streams. One, because they took my they didn't take it. We made my computer room into a spare bedroom, and you can see behind me. And I'm just now getting it back. And I don't even have my gear set up yet. My cameras aren't set up. I'm using my laptop to stream this morning. So, but I didn't want to miss another one because I promised people last week that I'd be definitely going live next week. So we didn't want to miss another one. But anyhow, the company's gone, and I'm going to try to get my computer studio set back up again, at least the cameras and whatnot, so we can do our live streams. What else has been going on? We do have a live stream coming up Tuesday where we will be announcing our winner of the Curnix Kids Project. Let me jump into this other computer real quick. Our panel of judges selected the winner for May, so we will be announcing that on Tuesday. And I want to thank the judges. They do a really good job every month of selecting someone from the entries to be chosen as the Curnix Kids Project winner. And they get a whole bunch of prizes from our sponsors. Matter of fact, let me see if I can't. It's really hard for me guys to do my live streams from this laptop because nothing's set up the way it is on my live streaming computer, so it takes a little bit. Okay, here's the kids sponsors. We have Homestead Harvest. They send out a 40-pound bag of feed for the kids to get them started. Hatching Time sends them a 2-unit layer cage. And then Thieving Outer Farms supplies hatching eggs for them. Bryant's Roost supplies an incubator. Curnix Corner, we make them up a tumbler. It says Curnix Kids Project on it, and it's got their name on it. And then Sunny Place Homestead gives them some waters, feeder, eggs, scissors, and whatnot. And now if I can find my way back to the right screen here we go. Yeah, so that's the plan on that. Like I say, I want to get everything going again. The morning musings on Sundays and the regular Curnix Corner live streams on Tuesdays. So we'll see if we can't get that going to where it's pretty regular, like it's supposed to be. As far as quail, guys, believe it or not, I had planned on having my quail set back up in January of this year. It is now May, and I still don't have any quail. I haven't even hatched out any. I have suppliers that will send me some eggs to get me going. It's just between I've got a aviary out back full of not full, but I've got some Rhode Island red birds out there, and then the bees. And like I said, with the company this past month, I've got to get off my lazy butt and build me some outdoor pens for quail, so I can at least get something going there. And I've had a lot of people asking me, about building cages, especially outside cages, how to predator proof them, and what's the best setup. The only thing that I could say as far as keeping quail outside down here, it's so hot in the summertime, and I've got to set them up. I've got one corner of my yard that gets almost probably the first half of the day is shaded. The second half of the day is blazing sun. The other end of my yard is the opposite. It's in the morning they get a lot of morning sun up till about noon, and then they get shade. The only problem with that is that's the corner of my yard that has my honeybees. And according to Florida, we're not supposed to have any caged animals within, I don't know if it's 50 or 100 feet of honeybee colonies. So I don't know. I'm going to have to figure something out, at least to get some birds going again. So I think that's about it out of me. Let me get over on this other computer a minute. I see we've got quite a few people in the house. Well, not quite a few. Not bad for a Sunday. 20, 22, 25 people. We got a lot of comments going on over in the chat room. So I think what we're going to do, if you guys have anything that you want to talk about, regardless of the topic, quail, whatever, honeybees, whatever you guys want to talk about, go ahead and post it over in the comments, and we'll bring it up and see what everybody else has to say about it. I just lost my train of thought there. Anyhow, I'll get over in the chat room, and then we'll worry about my train of thought later. Oh, the incubators. I finally got supplies back again for the DIY incubators. Any of you that are interested in putting together a decent incubator, these DIY kits work really well. I've got several people that have emailed me. These are people that have bought the kit from me and put them together, telling me about their hatch rates and whatnot. And for the most part, 99% of them are positive reviews. I even had one guy send me a picture of some emu chicks that he hatched out in the incubator. But anyhow, I just got the parts in for that thing. I had them off the website for a while because I didn't have parts and I didn't want to get behind, so I pulled them off the website. But they are back on the website now, and you can check them out at GulfCoastQuail.com. Matter of fact, I will put that in the comments. Oh, let's see, did it work? Yeah, it did. Good. All right. Let me jump over here and see. Andy Rabbit's in the house says good morning. Good morning, Andy, and thanks for the message this morning. I was actually all set up when I got that message, so we were ready for it. Samantha Stratton's in the house says good morning from a humid Michigan. Yeah, it's really humid here too. I think the dew point was 71, which puts us up into the really high humidity category. But yeah, glad you could join us, Samantha. Mark Garrett's in the house says good morning, everyone. Glad you could join us, Mark. Johnny says morning from Malvern, Arkansas. I think that is, or is that Arizona? No, Arizona would be AZ. So Arkansas, I guess so. Dragon Girl's in the house says good morning, everyone, from the damp Pacific Northwest. Okay, some of these letter combinations go right over my head sometimes, even when they're really simple ones. Matter of fact, you wouldn't believe how many times, if I'm on Facebook or something, and somebody will comment and they're putting these string of letters together, how many times I've had to go Google to find out what that little string of letters meant. Andy Rabbit says, how are you doing? I guess talking to somebody else. Amaz says, good morning. Glad you could join us. Answers with the videos in the house says, good morning. It's been a while. It has been a while. And that's all my fault. I'm going to take the blame on that one. It's not that I didn't want to do the live streams. It's not even really difficult for me to set up the laptops to do them. It's just not the way I'm used to doing them, which is with all my camera, my lighting, my microphones. Now I'm at the mercy of the laptop camera, the laptop microphone, no lighting because I don't have any set up yet. But we will get that straightened out. Hopefully by Tuesday I'll have my camera set up for the regular live stream. Anita Garrett's in the house says, good morning, everyone. Glad you could join us. Anita, hope you and John are doing well. Andy Rabbit said that's pretty awesome. And Andy Rabbit says hello to Anita. Gary says hello back. Let's see. Joe's Barry. I hope I don't know how you pronounce that, but anyhow, good morning from Southwest Missouri. Glad you could join us. And here's that link, guys. If you want to check out the DIY incubator kits, they are on the website. Some of you have been asking me too about the website, why I took down all the signs and stuff. I had a bunch of signage that I was doing. Most of those signs were wooden signs made out of, carved out of wood, but I wasn't really happy with them. I was having issues like with the lettering and stuff. It wasn't really crisp as much as I wanted to. So I'm working now on getting some PVC boards, I guess you would call them, and offering those for signs. And they could be PVC, painted, multiple colors, stuff like that. But they'll be on the website eventually. Andy Rabbit says a cattle panel arch with some vine type growing on it for shade, something like pole beans. Yeah, I could do that, and that would have to be because I've got to keep I'm gonna have to keep my birds over on the east side of the yard because the birds are on the west, or the bees are on the west. So yeah, they get plenty of morning sun. I would just have to set something up. I'm gonna have to figure it out because I just put up a wall for my bees. I call it a flyaway wall. It's a 6-foot high barricade that's got that white plastic lattice going across it. And that's to keep the bees, when they come out of the hives, to go up instead of flying straight across the yard. One, because I don't want my wife getting, bees hung up in her hair while she's out, hanging up clothes and whatnot. But mainly for my neighbors. This way I can keep the bees up and off ground level. Because I don't want people to get stung and then start complaining. Promised Land Homestead said we just got some honeybees. Cool. I have not, this year, have not bought a single box of bees or nukes or anything. Everything that I've got was swarm caught. I set out a bunch of swarm traps this year. So all my bees this year were free. And I think I'm going to keep doing that because swarm trapping is fun. Fawn's in the house is good morning, Taylor. Good morning, Fawn. Glad you could join us. Bob Cole's in the house is good morning, all. Bob, I did answer your email. I'm sorry it took me so long to get back to you. It was that email address comes in on a different computer, not the one that I mess with every day. So it took me a while to get back to it. But that is really confusing, Bob. You said that you've got good hatches in the past at that altitude. So I don't think it's anything altitude related. Possible, but I don't think it is. I got a feeling if your incubator's holding temperature right, maybe your humidity is messing them up. Like I said in the email, Bob, next time you try it, crack open all the eggs that don't hatch. Find out where they were at in development, if they developed at all. Possibly a fertility issue, but most likely I would think they started developing and then for whatever reason, quit halfway through. But yeah, we're going to figure it out, Bob. It's got to be something simple. Promised Land Homestead says good morning from Missouri. Glad you could join us. Samantha Stratton says, finally found me a Nigerian dwarf fainter mixed goat. Been milking her the last couple days. Oh my, it's delicious. Our herd share lady has alpines, and that's similar to 2% cow milk. Cool. That's one thing I've never kept was goats. And I thought my neighbor across the street was going to get a goat to kind of keep it in his yard like a pet dog or something. And I thought if it worked out good for him, I was going to try it, but I never did. But cool. I'm glad you got the fainter mixed goat. Those goats are cool, the ones that faint. Let's see. CWH number 1. Too many folks talk in alphabet soup. They do. I can't figure out half of. I guess it's my old age. Um, Half the stuff they come up with nowadays, I've got to Google it because I don't know what they're talking about. Andy Rabbit says, "Howdy, Missouri neighbors." Samantha Stratton says, "It's illegal to sell raw milk in Michigan, so we have to use herd shares." Okay, cool. Basically, you pay to feed your animal and therefore get the milk from your animal. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's always a way around it, you know. Amaze says, "How much aggression should you allow before separating?" I use the rule that as long as they're not drawing blood, they're okay. Because a lot of times, they're just asserting their dominance, trying to establish a pecking order. Um, but if it gets to where they're scalping birds, drawing blood and whatnot, yeah, it's definitely time to separate and or cull, which I do, all the time. That's one of the biggest things with, especially Curnix. You've got to, you know, cull hard for aggression, or you're gonna breed aggression. There's just so many breeders out there that don't do any culling, and they have problems with aggression, and they're selling hatching eggs, and the person that's getting hatching eggs from them has problems with aggression. So yeah, if they're not drawing blood, I don't usually worry too much about it. But once I see scalped heads and sometimes even dead birds, I've had birds get so beat up that they actually died. So, but that's when I do the separating and the culling. Bob says, "Okay, I cracked all the non-hatching eggs. Most were not fertilized." There you go. Rue's not doing the deed, apparently. Okay, Bob. So, first thing I would do then would be to set up your uh, breeding pens for hatching eggs at, say, a 1-to-3 or a 1-to-4 ratio. Don't go over a 1-to-5. That way, it could be that your Rue is really picky which hens he breeds, or he's got a favorite, and usually you could tell the favorite because they get overbred, and a lot of times they have some really ruffled up looking feathers. So yeah, if that's it, if it's the Rue, maybe he's too old. I don't know how old he is. Um, then go ahead and call him and see if you can't pick up a few Roos somewhere else and get them into your program. But yeah, I'm definitely interested, Bob, to find out if that's all your problem was non-fertilized eggs. That's great because you don't have to worry about altitude and stuff like that. Anita says, talking to Amaze, says, "If it's true aggression, zero tolerance. If it's establishing a pecking order, a week." There you go. I agree 100% with Anita. So yeah, aggression it's kind of a funny thing. I mean, there's a lot of uh, I see it all the time on some of the Facebook groups. People are talking about how you can separate your birds and maybe move them to a new home or something to try to uh, you know calm those birds down. I don't even mess with them because it seems to me that once you've got aggression in your flock, and I'm talking like Anita says, true aggression, um, cull. Just get rid of the bird, butcher them, whatever, um, so you don't have to worry about it being a genetic issue. There are. This is the problem that happens with really large breeders that have thousands and thousands of breeders that they're selling hatching eggs from. Is unless they've got a crew of 50 people working for them and watching for aggression and culling the birds that are aggressive, they're actually selling stock that has more of a tendency to be aggressive. But again, like Anita said, determine whether or not it's aggression or a pecking order. Because quail are just like chickens; they do establish a pecking order. Um, I noticed on most of mine, when establishing a pecking order, it's like you'll get a few, especially the hens. They'll stand up big and tall like a rooster, and might peck at another one, but they're not going to go to that extent, or to the extent that an aggression would or an aggressive bird would, where they're chasing them around and pinning them down from the back of the head and pulling feathers out and ripping the skin. Um, that's that's just an overly aggressive bird, and they don't need to be in your flock. So let's see. Joanne says from Crestview, Florida, how do you change your males out every 6 months? Um, okay, if you know you've got males that you're going to be retiring soon, you've got to make sure that you set some eggs so you've got new males to select from to replace all your retired males. And you want to do it early enough to where the ones that hatch out are going to be sexually mature by the time you retire your first roosters. Um, so I would do it 2 months early. That way they'll be about 8 weeks old when you introduce them to your hens. And but yeah, that's how I swap them out. And if you're talking about, where do we go? If you're talking about how do you introduce the new males, I've never had a problem with that. Every once in a while, you'll get a hen. Don't take out the retired male too early, because then you're going to get a hen that's going to be the matriarch, the dominant hen of the group, and she may be a little bit more dominant over that rooster also when you introduce the new rooster. So what I do is I pull the retired rooster out of the cage, and almost immediately, within the same day, we'll introduce a new rooster into the cage. And you can do it in the evening. That way, they've got all night to. They're not going to argue about it. They're not going to fight or anything. So, yeah, I've never really had any problems with it. I've never really had any problems with aggression, just because, I call so much for aggression. All right, Bob says, tap the thumbs up, folks. Yeah, you guys can do that. We got one thumbs up. Or maybe I better check. This computer needs to be refreshed. Oh, we got 12, so we're doing good. And we got 31 people in the house, which isn't bad for a Sunday, especially a Sunday um, that I haven't been live in a while. So people probably weren't expecting it today. Leonie, Leonie. Sorry if I butchered your name. Hello from Yorkshire, England. Glad you could join us. I have my second batch of quail eggs in the incubator after a failed first attempt. Please wish me luck. I'm so excited. Well, good luck. Hopefully you'll get a really good hatch this time. Just make sure you keep an eye on your temperature and your humidity levels. Get them right, and you're pretty much guaranteed a good hatch as long as your eggs are fertile. Promised Land Homestead said, we just put some eggs from Thieving Otter Farm and have 4 goose eggs from the homestead. Cool. Yeah, you'll like the Thieving Otter Farm stuff. She's got some really neat color varieties going on. I know she just introduced, she didn't breed it, but the Australian collection, which is from the Oz Snowies out of Australia. Originally, they were brought into the U.S. through William Carl Foster, and William Carl Foster had given Michael Rose from Southwest Game Birds, given him some of that line, so he was keeping them, and Rebecca got, through Michael, got that line also, so she's going to be carrying on that line. I think there's a lot of really neat possibilities that could come out of that line, even though I'm not real familiar with the Oz collection of birds. I've seen them around a lot, basically through Tamara Roselle and Anita, or not Anita, but Katie Agali over in Australia, and they're really some beautiful birds. So, if you're looking into something like that, it's a good line to get into. And there's not a whole lot of people as of yet that have established. What does she call that line again? Oh, the Australian collection. A lot. There's not a whole lot of established lines here in the state in the U.S. So, it's kind of a good way to get started with something that's a little more rare, I guess you'd say. All right, Mark says, great seeing everyone. I have to get a lot done today. Have a great Sunday. You too, Mark. Thanks for joining us. I'm the same way. I've got B frames to put together. I got to mow my grass. I had to buy a new lawnmower yesterday because my old one, I hit a rock and I think I bent the crankshaft because it had a really, really bad vibration. So I went out and bought a new one, and man, lawnmowers are getting expensive. I mean, I got a little bitty yard. I could mow my yard with a weed eater, but I went out and bought one, and it was almost double what I paid for the one that I just destroyed. So, Leone says, I need advice on how to rat proof my cage. I have large metal cage in a greenhouse, nothing in there as of yet, but worried about small vermin getting in to quail during the summer. I see the Andy Rabbit right below you says half-inch by half-inch hardware cloth will work. Yes, depending on what your cage is made out of now, the size wire is going to really determine, um, what you can do to rat-proof it. The problem with rats, even with half-inch by half-inch hardware cloth, rats can come up through the bottom of the cage and they will literally pull the bird's legs through the cage and eat them, tear the legs off and eat them. I've seen it happen. So you almost have to build like a false floor to where you've got like say 6 inches. You've got a floor 6 inches underneath the floor of the cage that the rats can't get through and get to the bottom of the wire. So yeah, watch that. But like Andy says, half by half is good for keeping them out of the cage altogether. Just watch the flooring on them. Promised Land Homestead said they are SSCs, which is Schofield Silver Collection. Okay, so you've got the Schofield Silvers from Thieving Otter. That's cool. I didn't even know that she had the Schofield line up there. Scott says, I checked my chicks this morning. They're 4 days old and 3 were dead. They looked crushed. What would cause that? Scott, most likely when you have a problem like that, if they're in the brooder and you've got chicks that have been trampled, they're cold. They're basically trying to pile on top of each other to stay warm, and the ones at the bottom of the pile basically suffocated. They got trampled to death. I've seen it happen. Best thing to do is make sure that you've got an area that under the heat lamp is warm, even a little bit warmer than what the chicks need, which, you think 99.5 in the incubator. When they come out, when they first come out of the incubator, I've got an area that's probably 100 degrees. And they will thermoregulate. They'll self-regulate the temperature by, if they're cold, they'll be directly under the light. Otherwise, they'll be certain distance away from the light for a different, heat gradient. So yeah, it's most likely that your heat wasn't enough, or your heated area wasn't large enough. I don't know how many chicks you're talking about. If your heated area isn't large enough, they're all going to try to pile under that one little warm spot, and they can't get enough heat to keep themselves warm. Don says, good morning from South Mississippi. Glad you could join us, Don. It's been a little while. Bob says, poop tray under the wire floor helps stop vermin attacks from below. Yeah, it's a good idea. As long as you got something that they can't jump up onto the poop tray. But yeah, good point, Bob. Plus, you get to put the waste where you want it, like a compost pile. Absolutely. Okay, it looks like we're down to the bottom of the list. I am just real quick go over what's going on again Tuesday. Like I say, we're going to go live Tuesday on our regular Curnix Corner Live. That is, it's going to be the 7th, I believe. Yep, 6th, 7th. And that's at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week we will be announcing the winners of the Curnix Kids project. We also do some giveaways over there for the people over in the chat room. Giveaway, hatching eggs. Hatching Time gives us a $50 gift certificate. So yeah, it's an opportunity, to maybe get some fresh hatching eggs to throw in the incubator, and if you're a Hatching Time fan, a $50 gift certificate to where you can spend that any way you like on their website. All right, if we have any more questions, guys, go ahead or comments, whatever, go ahead and post them now. Otherwise, I am going to pull the plug and go out into the shop and get some work done. I've got a bunch of bee frames that just came in. I've got to assemble. I actually got to run up and get some wood glue first. But I got to get the bee frames assembled and strung up with fishing line. I'm trying to get away from using the plastic foundation. I like the fishing line because the bees can build the comb the way they want it, not the way I want it. So, all right. Well, it looks like we don't have anybody else popping in our chat room. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug on this one. And like I said, join us Tuesday over on the Curnix Corner live stream. And also for you guys that are in here that aren't members of the Curnix Corner community, join us at curnixcorner.com. I'll put that link up there real quick. We got a lot of great folks over there that, will help out with questions that you might have. It's just a really nice, good community. There's no drama going on over there. And yeah, it's really nice. And it's an option away from Facebook, which I know a lot of people, especially the people over in that group, they don't really care for Facebook that much. And I'm getting to where I really don't care to be on there much either. So, guys, I want to wish everyone a happy Sunday, Cinco de Mayo. That's right, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. So enjoy your day. Hope you have a great one. Again, join us on Tuesdays at the Curnix Corner live stream. I wish you guys well with your quail, and have a great rest of your weekends. We'll see you on Tuesday, guys.